Most of the people that you have in sports today are there to make profits. I could say, except for those local coaches who are hell bent on saying their players succeed. I was watching Tawawuni's grassroots coach when we were talking. That is the coach that wants the best on the player. It's not really after the money. So people like that are supposed to be encouraged to serve as source of inspiration to upcoming coaches too. And yes, on the streets, we all know that Nigeria, except that it's in ourselves, people are paying to get into things.
Welcome to this Game of Legends. This episode will be about sports development in Lagos State and the role it plays as the commercial hub of Nigeria.
Hello everyone, another episode of this Game of Legends. With me here, I have Mr. Kameel Apanishile. He works with the Lagos State government in Nigeria, vastly experienced and knowledgeable in sports, athlete development, worked with a lot of academies, worked with a lot of athletes, internationals and local athletes as well. Mr. Kameel, thank you for being here today. Welcome to this Game of Legends.
Thank you, Bob.
So, just a brief background of what this Game of Legends is about. Basically, we're looking to figure out ways in which we can assist our athletes, ways in which we can help the sports industry grow in Nigeria. We know Lagos is the commercial hub of Nigeria. My question to you would be, what role do you think Lagos State plays as regards the growth of sports in Nigeria in terms of athlete development?
Thank you very much. In the olden days, we have the school sports, which we call the principal corps for people. We are not even legends. While growing up, we're from primary school, we're dreaming of, yes, I'm going to play the principal corps. Also, know the likes of the ones, Stephen Kessie, Wakil Onyunoga, so many of them grew up from this competition. And right from primary things, you are always there. You sneak out of the house to go and watch them play. And you aspire to be like them while growing up. So right from there, though, at the point, it has to stop for whatever reason you don't know. I can remember late or more. That's the man, I think, with the principal of either Ibas College or King's College Lagos. And we have understanding that getting it right. They put in their efforts to make this thing work, and Lagos State also key into it. And I know of the principal corps died at the point. So yes, in terms of that, in terms of providing facilities, I know when at South Shore was growing up, his coach on the island, they used to bring out to that people train. We never knew she was going to blow like this, but I know then when we were the team usually here and comment like, what does it girl want? Thank God she has been there. Now people can see what she wants. She's an inspiration to stuff. This Lagos State is trying to bring in projects. I think they should do more in partnering with some teams, because Lagos State has some teams that are privately sponsored to the world. It's not easy in this part of the climate to run a sports club alone. Yes, I think Lagos State should do more in terms of bringing all these academies, all these sporting activities. We have entire sportsmen, boxing, table tennis. Well, that is one thing that I know Lagos State used to do not when was growing up. You see tables on the streets, you see people playing tennis on the street, but nowadays you don't get to see that again. People that have made it to go from the streets, they come to like this. I can recall you the first time I saw one of our coaches, I think she's more than age 13, 12, 13, 14, then brought her to my area to come and play. So she was exposed to the street as well as to training like the professional how to go to the game. But you don't get to see that now. You don't get to see everything now. So these are areas government should come to facilities around community halls, area where government can put in places things for people to come, basically for recreation purposes. But that is where the talents want to discover that nurture absolutely that. And again, bring more people who are knowledgeable about sports. Who have either played the game or in close contact with the game. I tell you, go to the street, you see so many very good amateur coaching, but they are not exposed to going to NIS with their coaching courses. So coaches like that are still abound on the street. Lagos is just need to bring them together under a particular strong academy where they can always just, okay, this is what they have now to just finance what they have. They have the raw skills of coaching these players. I don't want to mention some of them. There are so many of them I know around that are very, very good coaches, but they don't have the necessary academic requirements. But in terms of experience, in terms of what they know, yes, they are good. So we need to bring them, even if it is helping them to get these certificates, even if it's helping them, even if it is not, at least bring them together. They have so many young boys and girls. I was at the campus square not too long ago, I think, for the last months, for many competition, I saw a young lady, that lady, I'm telling you, with the right exposure, it's the next country, I can tell you, from what I saw. I mean, the way she
You're
passed
in
around,
Lagos.
yes, yeah, in Lagos, campus square. So, yeah, there are so many of them around. We just need to bring all these coaches together and bring their players. I know some of the problem the coaches have, based on my personal experience of handling a team before, is that the bigger teams always want to snatch their player from them.
Thank you for the explanation on how we can poach players, how we can discover them on the streets, how we need to work together. You've explained a whole lot. I am curious though, when it comes to scouting for players on the streets, what do you think is the proper model? Because from what I can remember, I grew up here in Lagos, and I noticed there's hardly representatives or coaches from the bigger clubs, from the government themselves, come to the grassroots level. I am part of a couple of grassroots clubs here in Animosho, So is it a case where we have to refer players to the scouts or to the agents, or there's a strategy that needs to be in place for representatives to be sent to certain local governments or certain states to get players from? What approach do you think is best to employ?
Yes, thank you very much. I know this for a fact that the Lagos Sport Ministry has in each local government, I don't know about it now, but I know they used to have, we have a sport person attached to each local government and areas in Lagos, but I've not really been seeing it. So that is one way to go about it. But basically, the way to go about it, it's not for government alone. This grassroots competition coaching, so they need to come together to form a body that when they have this competition or when they have this training, even before that, they liaise with government, the government agencies, which is the sport ministry. Yeah, this is who we are, this is what we do. So I feel government at that point should have experts. So what do they do? Sport, they do football. Okay, so three coaches, okay, go and watch the teams. You have the database of the teams within your area, for instance. Okay, go and watch them train. Go and see what you can do. Go and discover players. But those players, the local coaches now, to ensure that those players are tied to little contract so that their effort will not be in vain. I think that is one of the major reasons. I can tell you, while growing up, what Lagos State people used to do is they were sure you play the FA Cup, Lagos State FA Cup, so that you have license. And when the bigger team comes, they let you sign and they present the license and give them peanuts. So I used to tell them this is not the way to go about it. Let's have a very, very good body. Liaise with government going forward. Government would know that this is so academy. They have the database of all registered academies. Ensure that all academies are registered. And even protecting the kids from abuse, kidnappers, and the rest. So have a database for each of the local governments. And Lagos State should have the database of players there, their age, have people that will monitor their progress. And if needed be, for me, Lagos State should have its own academy. People that excel from these various academies can be pushed, called into the state academy, carrying their coaches along. And so to me, that would help a lot.
I like that you mentioned this particular database structure because I completed my master's in sports management in 2018. My thesis was about the growth or the development of athletes, footballers within the Lagos State academy system. It was very difficult doing my research. There is no data whatsoever when it comes to sports, football, and Lagos State. And I thought to myself, for a state like Lagos State, a country like Nigeria, this is not very good. No data, no statistics. Doing the research was very challenging. I interviewed professional footballers. I had to interview people myself. I had to do the survey myself to get data for myself. And up until now, When I go to the website of the Ministry of Sports and Youth Development in Nigeria, no data, same thing. So I've been thinking about ways in which to get people together to start collecting data. For instance, now we don't even have data of how many grassroots clubs we have in Lagos State for local governments. Now, that's one thought. I'd like your opinion on this. The story that we don't operate a merit-based system in Nigerian football. I also had the experience myself when I was about 17, 18 years old. A lot of scouts and agents who came to be representatives of the national teams at the youth level come with forms where young players have to pay some money to get opportunities to go to the camp, to train at the camp. Please, I'd like your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. One, I agree totally with you that we don't have database. So that is one of the reasons why I said all the coaches, the grassroots coaches, they don't need to be busy. They need to come together. Each local government. This is where government comes in. Government come to regulate those things. Government sending their agents. One of the best ways is have a competition for each local government in their locality for the academies. That way, players will be registered. You are uploading your database. So you know a player that is registered in agriculture for registrar will not be registered and say Lagos Midland for registrar because it's already in the database. And that way we can monitor players. I was opportune to see a progress chart of the son to the younger sister at the US. The boy was initially about playing football, but he is now running. So I was sent his career progress, his performance is climbing up. So you see the steady progress. Like, any coach can just pick up his chart and like, okay, this is an area where he has to work on. They talk about his speed, his reaction to guns and everything. So these are things that should be done in Nigeria too. Nigeria has people need to come into sport. It's lucrative. You don't have to be a footballer. You can be a data analyst that they give you this thing about this particular player. I don't need to start sending videos alone to know for selling player. Any European team can think I want to be painting midfielder. Let me ask what they are going through their performance card. One, if that is very good idea of what the player is and what bring into their team. So yes, I do agree that we need a strong database and the government needs to key into this.
The second thing I mentioned about talents on the streets getting the opportunities on merit versus paying for opportunities.
It still boils down to what I've said, that most of the people that you have in sports today are there to make profits. I could say, except for those local coaches who are hell-bent on seeing their players succeed. I was watching Tawawuni's grassroots coach when we were talking. That is the coach that wants to depend on the player. It's not really after the money. So people like that are supposed to be encouraged to serve as source of inspiration to upcoming coaches too. And yes, on the streets, we all know that Nigeria, except that it's in ourselves, people are paid to get into teams. A younger brother, younger footballer that you were training, very, very good footballer on the island. Like Lagos teams will tell you that the moment they see him in the other team, you know you are in trouble. He never gets to play, even for a team, except for that Lapa team. People respect him. He went for a trial game and that particular team asked for money, and the player from that team went ahead to play for Super Eagles and
because he could pay the money.
And it's not the player paying now. I think it's their management team because they know that getting the national team on their CV
sponsors is like an investment. You pay for a player, and when the player goes professional,
yes.
You get money for the yes. So I am of the opinion that when it comes to sports, I'm an athlete. I teach sports as well. I have a sport company. Sports in Nigeria is largely unexplored. This is something I always say is when Nigerians think sports, when we think sports in Nigeria, we think football. We don't consider, a bit of basketball. Our basketball teams been doing well in Africa. But beyond that, swimming, tennis, baseball, these things are non-existent. We think football. And then when we think football, we think playing football. You mentioned something. We don't think about sports science. We don't think about other aspects. I don't even think there are credible sports management courses or sports programs in our universities, in our institutions. We have a whole lot to do when it comes to sports. And then beyond that, There is something called diversification in sports, where sports is not just seen as an activity or an event. You can merge sports and the infrastructure, where our stadiums, sports and apparels, merchandises for football clubs, sports and technology, where our innovations in sports, sports tech. There is sports medicine, which I think is one of the areas that Nigeria needs to pay attention to. Just within the last 3 months, I know of 3 grassroots players passed away. Just in 3 months. Going back 5 years, I can mention more than 20 of them that I know or know of. Topless of those I don't know. We're not paying enough attention to our athletes at the grassroots level. And then it's a whole ecosystem of challenges we have. Because, like you mentioned something, the lack of database means we're not monitoring their progress. We're not looking after them. Those who are going to stay in school, where are they? Those who should need health insurance so we can prevent accidents, painting on the pitches. Those who can go on to play football but do greater things in sports, as a scout, as an agent, as a coach, as a scientist, as just some support capacity in sports. So that is one of my motivations for starting this podcast, so we can try to figure out ways for everyone to come together. Don't always wait for the government. However, the government should be the one in charge of such programs, of such schemes, in my opinion, because they will be registered under the government at the end of the day. I think a lot of grassroots clubs should merge. It's too much. It's too much. I played in the Netherlands in Apeldoorn, and up until the 8th or the 9th division, we are all registered with the KNVB. That is the Dutch version of the NFS. From Eredivisie, the top league, down to the bottom league, they are all registered. We have health insurance. We all have our emails attached to the database. But I'd like to see something like that happen in Nigeria, where a kid from Ali Mosho or from Saleh Kou has direct connection to the government or to the sports association, where they know, okay, this kid exists there. And then in the database would have their profile, age, height, playing position. And this would expose our playing culture, to expose our sports athletes considerably. That is my thoughts about how we should go about it. All right, Mr. Kameel, not to take too much of your time. Hopefully we'll do this again. Any closing remarks, what we need to do, how we should go about it from the government's perspective and from the coach's perspective? How can we meet halfway to make this happen? Very soon.
Yeah, very soon, very soon, very soon. I think the person that's done, coaches themselves. Like one of my boss, we used to tell me, nobody will ask you, where are you? Or who is there? You're not say, yes, I am here.
Yeah, yes.
So the coaches need to come together under one umbrella. Might be Alimutra having it, so this one having it. So I know presently coaches have their own association, but to me, I've seen that association is not really a question of bringing the grassroots in about who makes what. So they need to be sincere with themselves, have a body, look at it, right? The bigger picture is what they should look at. So when they have that, we should seek audience with the chairman in terms of football now. They should stay in, bring their case to him. You and I can be an advocate of that. We'll be able to, because one is having something, the other one is having that necessary wherewithal to channel, to sell the unique selling point that we want to sell to, for them to keep in. And where governments keep in, government should. Now it's an regulation that if you look around, most areas doesn't really have pitch now, football pitches, and yes, most area doesn't have, and you just make play inside, park inside, sit inside, and which is already good, except we want to start using that for our coach staff. Having said that, I think the coaches need to come together and present their case and appeal. They need to go more on social media, speak audience with TV stations to spell the idea to go. That way, government will keep, because one, there's not so much job for graduates out there. But sports, entertainment is an outreach to which people can reach out, people can excel. So even athletes should do say, people that grow up and they are so opportune to have the exposed, they should be back to where they're coming from. Coach, I want to play this competition. It's not always the cup of December, they just want to play around with friends. It needs to come together, organize competitions, because I think that's possible. Organize competitions where the coaches can be dragged into the net together, the academy, you can register your players, so this. If they do 40% of that and give to government should be able to do the rest 70 or at least get close to 100 in having a complete database of players that it's a win-win situation to me. The states will get something out of it. And again, we mentioned diversification. I think Nigerians we need to start looking at other aspects of sports. You don't have to be a footballer for it. You could be a referee. Referee are making it big.
Nigeria did not have any referee in AFCON as big as Nigeria is. I was shocked to see the list and no Nigerian referee there.
You need to say it still goes up to the exposure we're talking about. I know Lagos now, when you organize some of these local competition, I think Lagos is ensuring that it has to be a registered referee that comes to grow. So you see young boys as referees, young boys as early as young as 20, 21. We need to bring them. It goes out to what you are saying about connections. Yeah. If you are good, you are good. You don't have to put it. So the referee association needs to also go around, look for these coaches with their talent. Yeah, this one has a good understanding of the law of football and the very time. So get them exposed. I know there is this referee in Nigeria, it goes now, Quadri, forgotten his first name. I did Quadri back when he was in his early years, about 13, 14, and it grows on. It grows Nigerian league now. In practice, it's one of the major referees in Nigeria. So if I got that he has been exposed to refereeing, if the government has taken it up to build him more, I mean, maybe we would have had at least one or two referees at international competition.
Or even at the World Cup.
Yeah. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Mr. Kameel, I can go on to talk about sports and football for hours, but unfortunately, we have to keep to time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. We should do this again. We've not even started. We've not even started. There's a lot to discuss, and hopefully even work together at some point to start to build maybe database for our athletes or bring clubs together to form an association. There's a lot we can do, a lot we need to do. Mr. Kameel, thank you once again. I'll talk to you again, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Just like that, said that you can talk sports, football all day. We are not able to crack the surface. To me, I'll be fulfilled when the cake with desire will stream it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Very much.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. To follow our journey on this mission, kindly do not forget to subscribe and check us out on social media. Until next time.